Well, good morning, everybody in California, and good afternoon, everybody on the East Coast. It's 10 o'clock here, California time. We thought we'd shock you guys and start right at the top of the hour. It's 1 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 o'clock here. I've got a snowstorm going. I'm not even sure I'm going to have power that long. They've got a winter warning. Tony's just down in the rain, but I'm up here in some snow that's coming down pretty good, and I'm loving every minute of it. Haven't had a lot of that lately. Because of that, I'm going to be on here briefly as I take care of some weather stuff, and Tony's going to tell you guys exactly when it's going to RV, how much it's going to be, and how you guys can get together to cash out later on this afternoon. Is that right, Tony?
That plus more.
Anybody else would have said no, but oh, man, it has been a crazy day. As everybody knows, the end of the month and the beginning of the month is always crazy. Why? Because it's always happening at the end of the month, and it's always happening at the beginning of the month with the UN rates and all those things going on. I hope none of us actually get discouraged at whatever level, although we all do. But, disappointed at the fact of not believing where we're sitting. As Tony's going to tell you, and as we've been telling you the last week or so, there's some really, really good things going on, and I think that we need to keep that in mind, first of all. So that when we hear the other stuff, it tells us maybe how close we may be getting, but it never tells us that we're there. And I think that's been kind of our theme for the last 3 or 4 months. I know we've offended some and we've made some feel better. Hey, nobody's going to be happy with everything, or everybody's not going to be happy with anything. So it's just one of those things that, you do your best and you kind of see what happens after. But right now I'm going to turn it over to Gary and Tony. I know that they're going to do a Q&A. And I wish I could be here, really, because I really don't have much better to do than shovel out and do some other things and make sure that I'm prepared for a power outage. So everybody have a good day. I'll probably be listening, but I'll be on mute because I'm not really going anywhere just right yet. But, Tony, I'll turn it over to you and Gary, and hopefully somebody will call my cell phone and tell me at RVs while you're talking.
Okay, yeah, Dan, don't go away. I'm sure somebody's going to want to have some comments here. No. All right, go ahead and go away. But just be listening.
Oh, jeez. Hey, well, you're talking about the news. Why don't we do this, since we are going to do the 5 for 10, and you do know you're scrambling on my side here. Why don't we at least put out the subject line in the email so that people can respond and get in the queue? Well, you are talking about all that phenomenal information you have to share with us today. And I'm not being facetious.
Okay, nope, go ahead. Let's do that. Get started.
Okay. What do we want to put in the subject line there? I know. Tony's cry. It's a great day.
Here you go.
Tony's crying, and it's a great day?
No,
that's a long subject.
What he's well, we'll shorten it. Great day. There you go. And put that in the subject line, great day. Send it to 5 for 10. That's a numeral 5, FOR, the numeral 10, at peoplestalkradio.com. As soon as we get it here, we'll respond, and we will respond to a few of you with a phone number. Call in on that phone number. When you do get in, wait a few seconds, hit star 6, and then once you do that, wait for a tone, and then hit the 1, and it'll throw you in the queue. And we're looking forward to answering as many questions as we can today. Oh, wow. Boy, we got a lot of them today. Well, I'm going to turn on the queue so we can see it line up here while you're talking. Let me send out some more messages.
I hung up. Let me throw something in here real quick. Just so you guys know, from this point forward and for a little while, the 5 for 10 will still be the 5 for 10. And although we'll be giving out 5K notes, there'll be 2 of them. So there is a lot of the 5K notes versus the 10K notes. I said, hey, I don't know if anybody's got a lot of those that are still just worth the same. Usually they charge a little more for that. They didn't. They charge the same as the 10s on it. So we've just ordered a bunch of the 5K notes. Those don't go out until Friday anyways. So possibly we'll have them before Friday. You know how the mail's been with the dinar in the mail. Sometimes you get it the next day, and sometimes it takes 4 or 5 days. But when you get those 5K notes from this point forward, for a while at least, for about another 5 to 7 million, there'll be 5K notes in there. Anyways, just wanted to let those guys know it. I thought it was kind of cool. And back to you, Tony.
Okay, wait a minute, Dan. Don't those 5K notes cost more than the other notes?
Normally they do. Well, the 10K notes cost us. It's about $1,300 plus per million instead of the 1170. So we pay more for 10K notes anyways. And the 5s are actually more than that. But we pay the same for the 5s and the 10s. But yeah, they are more than the 10s. Each envelope cost us about $20 to send it out, just so you know. It's we pay the insured shipping and verification of delivery, so it's about $5 for shipping, $5 something for shipping, and then the notes. So yeah, it's about the same, except Canada. Canada's $20 to ship them. They're $13. Thank you, Canada. But no, but it's the same.
Okay. I was thinking that maybe we can exclude Canada in the future. How about that? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, there you go. You just got a whole new kind of fan base.
Yeah, I know. Look.
I got too many partners and friends up there, so.
All right.
And I'm going to buy property up there and leave. Never mind. Go ahead.
I'll say go in for 2 more minutes. I'll be right here.
All right. I can go on for 2 more minutes. They started the call and said, well, do you know what to say? I said, when are we ever short on what to say? You just give your opinion. You know, Gary was talking earlier today about some stuff. Were you saying something, Charlie? Or is your mic just going off?
Who is Charlie?
Well, he was the guy whose mic just went off. Some people come on and they don't mute themselves, so I like to play with them a little bit. But are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Actually, go ahead.
No, I don't know where the information's been kind of crazy today. I know we're going to keep track of that anyways. But just keep in mind we're at the end of the month, everybody, and it should be good, and there absolutely could be some pretty cool stuff coming up. So let's just, with a calm head, kind of watch the up-and-coming hours here. And I'll definitely be watching. I'll be on the call. I don't know if I can unmute all the time. It's going to get louder in a few minutes, but I will be here. So thanks.
All right. Well, guys, to tell you the truth, I don't know if that was Dan's way of giving you guys some secret information or his way of telling you he can be watching what I'm saying. But one or the other. We still going to do what we do, right? Okay. All right. I think today is going to be a great day, but I think that every day. I think the bank is looking forward to it. All our agencies are looking forward to a great day. All of the articles have said that today or tomorrow should be our day if they're truly going to be paying people out like they said they are. I don't see them doing that without an RV. I'm going to talk about the bank stuff because I know a bunch of you people are here waiting to hear that bank stuff, and I'm going to tell you I'm going to try and do the good and the bad, pros and the cons of what I'm going to say, and if it happens. And I'm going to let you know that all of that could be changed within the next 24 hours. So that's a lot of information to go through. Gary's going to help me sort through some of it. He's going to ask some of the questions. He didn't know he was, but I'm sure he's going to have questions. And Dan's not too far away. All right. The big question was what the bank had in store for you and why I thought it was a great idea. A couple of days ago, talking with our banking people and relationship, they were letting us know that the banks were fed up with this thing just like you were, which we've already known. And we know that the banks have been frustrated for a period of time because they've heard over and over and over again that it was going to happen. We know that you call the banks all the time, or people have, which Gary is going to tell you don't do because they asked him not to. And they always say, no, we're not going to be involved in it. I know that that is a factor that has concerned a whole lot of people, that the banks haven't admitted yet that they were going to be a part of this. And if we could just get that admission out of the banks, yeah, they're going to do it, then a whole lot of people would feel more relaxed, more calm, or say, well, I don't care. As long as I know the banks are saying it's true, then I can wait. That's the majority of you, right? I know I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, this is what I got, and I was waiting for. I haven't received the package yet, but I'm going to give you the information now because you waited the 48 hours. I talked to them last night and this morning, and they're actually in the office right now still going over the package. So I haven't received it yet. But I want to tell you what the offer was. And I'm just going to say banks, so you guys don't call them all yet until I actually get the package, and I can tell you. But there are 4 banks as of 15 minutes ago, or whenever we started this thing, now 45 minutes ago, 4 banks that are putting together packages that are going to do something we heard a year ago people were doing, but now it's come down to your level. They are actually going to, this was what I got Monday, so let me do it. And there was only 2 banks on Monday. 2 other banks have decided they're going to do the same thing since they've been made aware, and they're putting the package together. On Monday, the bank said, if this RV does not happen by Wednesday, we are going to let people come in and open their personal banking accounts, with personal banker, accounts with personal bankers, not an account where you just walk in the bank and open an account, not an everyday checking account and everything else, but a personal banking account with a personal banker. So, of course, these are millionaires, and above is who they handle right now. You were able to go in, and not yet. I'm clarifying that again. Not yet. They're still in the meeting. They haven't got me the package, but I'm going to give you the information, and then I'm going to tell you later why it may not be needed or may be needed, but I was just tired of putting it on hold anyway. What the banks have now agreed to do is let you go in and put your dinar on deposit. And that was paused for effect. They said effective today, which is not effective yet. That's what they said on Monday, but something else is going on right this moment, and I'm going to tell you about it afterwards. So I'm trying to follow the timeline. But Monday, what I was so excited about, and the gift that I'll tell you the banks were giving you, was today they said if there's no RV today, they were going to let you bring in your dinar, put it on deposit in your account, and give you 1 for 1. So if you had 100,000 dinar, you'd go request a personal banker, and only personal bankers can do it. Not your banker at your local bank, not a teller, personal bankers. And they are coming out with a list for each state of where those people are. Oh, personal wealth managers. So I just got a text from them, so I was saying it wrong. Personal wealth managers. That's who it is. They'll let you go in, open your account, put your dinar in on deposit, and they were going to give you 1 for 1. If you put 100,000 dinar in, it was going to show you have $100,000. If you put 1,000,000 dinar in, your deposit slip was going to say $1 million. At the end, when the RV actually happens, they would convert that over to what the RV rate is at that time. So you be able to put your money in, have a deposit slip, and the account be on hold. Just like if you put in an out-of-state check or a $300,000 or $400,000 check, they'll put it in your account and put it on hold until that check clears. That's what they were willing to do starting today. So hopefully it'll start tomorrow if the RV is not today. But that was a program. I was supposed to get the package this morning. I did talk to them. They're still in the meeting right now making some changes to it. Excuse me. So hopefully I'll have it this afternoon. But the beauty of this is this, guys. I don't care if you do it or don't do it. Now, I'm just going to tell you, Dan said he wouldn't do it. Dan, is it okay if I say that? All right. Which makes sense. A lot of people aren't going to do it. I probably shouldn't have said that. I know. I should have let him speak for himself. But a lot of people won't do it because they don't want the bank to have that money on deposit and be making the interest off of it, or they're not sure the bank is going to give it back to them if the rate is higher than $1, or they just simply don't trust banks. But all that was negotiable when you were setting up your account, just so you know that. Okay? So everybody knows that.
Tony?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. Yes.
I just need to ask you to jump on a line with Dan and me right now. We got some additional information, we want to share with you.
Okay.
And we'll come right back. And what I'm going to do is I'll call Dan, and then I will bring up the first person we have on Q&A. You guys can jump back in here. Hey, thanks.
All right.
As we move forward here, we've got a lot of things going on, and we've got calls coming in from the different entities that we've been working with. As you know, Tony's been working with a lot of programs and trying to just really bring a lot of good things to the table. What I'd like to do, though, is start off. We're going to bring our first person on, and they're a caller from, and I'll let Tony pick up from where he left off. But we're going to bring our first caller on. They're from an 801 area code, and so I'm going to bring them in right now.
Gary, I hate to interrupt what your thought is there.
Dan, I was just bringing in one person here on 801.
I just stopped that for just a minute.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Have you guys started this conversation and you know what I'm talking about?
Tony was just sharing about the bank and what they were, the fact that you could call in and they would help set up a personal account and everything else.
Well, and you guys know these are live calls, so I'm going to have to do this live. We're not going to talk about that piece right this moment, but Tony, we just got a call from a bank, and you need to call me.
Okay.
Gary, I don't know if you want to touch on something while he calls me really quickly, Dan, but this has to be said before we move forward for obvious reasons.
Yeah, Dan, I already told him to give you a call, which he is, and I was taking the first Q&A. Well,
and I'm really sorry. I jumped over here because they said, I hear you right now. Get someone on this line, so I'll be right. I'll wait for Tony's call then. Thanks. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that.
No, we got it. Bases covered here.
Yep. I should have known.
Hey, as you know, you get it live. You hear it as it comes.
Gary, before you take that one call, you do have one person in the queue that needs to go ahead and hit their *6, wait for the operator, and then hit option 1. But you can go ahead now. If you want to take that first caller.
Here we go. The only reason why I'm laughing is I've got Dan in my left ear and I've got you in my right ear. So it's kind of feeling dyslexic here. You know, you got the little angel on one side and the devil on the other. Well, I don't know who's who right now, but that's okay. But we're going with the first caller. Dan, feel free to jump in here. And our first caller is calling from 801 area code, and welcome to the call.
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
Doing good. Can I have your user ID, please?
My name is Kixalot on the board. And I have a quick... I don't have a whole lot to say. I have a question that maybe Tony's expertise, and I can ask it, and maybe if he can address it when he gets back on. But first and foremost, I just want to let you guys know how much I appreciate you guys and helping us stay informed and stay grounded, and it's just been good. It's helped us along in this ride, so I really do appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate the comment and letting us know. What is your question? My question has to do with, Tony's mentioned in the past about IPOs and Chase Bank being a bank that actually funds a big majority of the IPOs. And I know that Facebook has already filed, and Tony's mentioned pre-IPOs, and I was wondering if maybe he could go into a little bit more depth on a pre-IPO. Are we too late for the pre-IPO on the Facebook deal? I understand they're going to be like May or June before they actually do the initial public offering. So I'm just wondering if he can go into a little bit more detail. I've already got a bank account established with Chase, and I'm actually being set up with a private banker next week. So I'm trying to get my ducks in a row, but I'm just curious if he can go into more detail on the pre-IPO and how that works. Well, I would say at this point, he's not on the line. He will and address that. I'd rather have him, work that. At the same time, he's got to be careful what he does say, because most of that information is going to have to be, now that you've got a financial consultant in the private banker, they're very good. They're licensed and they have all the information, but
sure.
he'll give you the general information to go from there.
Well, whatever he can give up that he feels comfortable with, I'm totally fine with that. I, like many of the PTR members, have put together a kind of a portfolio, if you will, of all the things I'm going to do, getting all my ducks in a row, just ready for this thing to go, and I'm just trying to kind of be prepared, answer my own questions. So that's really all I have. I can give the rest of the time to the next person. Once again, I appreciate you guys and everything you do.
Well, hey, I appreciate you calling in. And, again, thank you very much. And hopefully if we get Tony back here, I wrote it down, and we'll see if he can get a comment on that when he comes back on. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Take care.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Take care, guys.
Bye. Our next caller, and in fact, Gopher, you might want to comment on that just a little bit. I know you've done a lot with investments. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I've never gotten into the IPOs, so I really I do know it would be something that you would really need to research, and from what I understand, pre-IPOs is really the only way to make any real money at it. So, but I'd rather have Tony comment on that.
Hey, Gary.
Yeah.
Gary, this is Simon. I think one of the things people need to realize when they're talking about IPOs and pre-IPOs, that's going to be done through a trader and a broker. And unless you have a relationship already set up, they're very difficult to get in, because usually all of those shares are kind of spoken for ahead of time with people that do a lot of business with brokers. So your best bet, if you're interested in IPOs, is start talking with a broker and get yourself educated on what you need to do, because that's where those stock trades happen, are through brokers. So you need to have a real strong relationship with a good broker, and you need to just start doing the research with them. That's my suggestion. Thanks.
Nope. And thank you very much, Simon. I appreciate that. Our next caller we're going to bring in, and they are from the 717 area code, and you're online. Please, if you would, just give us your username, and we'll go from there.
Hi, Gary. This is BG Massage. I am a lurker. Anyway, thanks, guys. Been in this for 2.5 years, in and alone. My husband is a CPA. He thinks it's a scam, too good to be true type thing. 2 kids in college and 1 in high school. So, hey, just bring it. My question I have is the traders. I wasn't planning on going to the banks because of my kids being in college and not having the right accounts, and, I'm going to be taking care of it for them and being power of attorney. Once all of this happens, my first phone call is to a tax attorney, because it's really hard for me to do things with my husband, okay? So all of this has been very, all the conference calls, all the chat rooms, I'm on it. It's kind of like a hush thing for me, but once it happens, then I can serve him crow. But anyway, my question is, if you go to the traders, how do we know? I mean, they say they're going to lock it in, okay, and you'll have like 24 hours to get everything back to them. How do we know they can do that? I mean, at the last minute, can the USD come in and say, hey, we've changed our mind, they can't do this? I mean, if we lock in, is it a sure thing?
At this point, the currency trader that we're working with, we know he has everything contracted. He is controlled by he's licensed by the SEC, and basically those contracts force him to commit. And when he does say it's locked in, it will be. If that changes, he'll have to let us know immediately. Okay. Can things change? Yes, they can. I do know also starting to look more favorably at the banks. If a person does have an amount and goes in and asks to meet with a personal banker, that personal banker or the wealth manager is there to be able to take you through a number of steps. The one group we spoke with let us know that they not only are looking at helping you put your money on deposit, but long-range plans, how to handle it. You give them the goals; they'll help you put together trusts and other entities to protect that asset, and that's what they're all about. So I'm starting to realize there's going to be a lot more help out there and be available. The most important thing, though, is you have to take and know what you're doing and do your research, talk to a number of people. I don't think it's going to be a mad scramble the very day it happens. Everybody thinks that, we hear about it Monday, everybody's going to be scrambling all over the place. I really think it's going to be much more organized than that. So, again, when it does happen, we'll be letting you know. We'll have some packages. And we do know that the people at Dinar Banker have been very responsible, and that's why we've been working with them.
Okay. So if the banks are doing this, I mean, this is coming down soon because they can't release that type of information, and then more and more people would get in. Like, hey, I just deposited my dinar, and
Well, basically, if you're referring to the fact that more and more people would be trying to buy it and get in, well, I think it's going to be, the rates are going to be locked in. I don't think there's going to be a lot of flexibility, and I really don't see this climbing for a long period of time. A lot of people picture it coming in at a low rate and then slowly climbing over X number of months, and a lot of people, jumping on it from there. I really have a hard time with that for two reasons. They're not looking and wanting to make a lot of millionaires or billionaires. As soon as the cat's out of the bag, everybody will be aware of what's going on, and I don't think they're going to let people just watch this thing climb and go from, let's say they start at, $1, go up to $2, then it goes up to $3, then, the rest of the world's going to be jumping all over it. I think it's going to come out at a level. I think it's going to kind of stabilize. It might drop down to a float level, but it will be stable and everybody will be ready to help you do what you need to do.
Okay. One more question. Do you think the budget is going to be implemented on March 1st?
Well, at this point, we have a lot of information showing that the 2012 budget was approved. We also have information showing that it was in the Gazette. The Gazette is a lot like our record, our congressional record. When we create a law or an act, we put it in a congressional record. It is then law and it's enacted. So at this point, it is at that stage. I do also believe that they have to start moving forward with it. We do know we've seen a lot of articles about the fact that they want to move forward. They want to be able to start rebuilding over there. They want to be able to start doing contracts, and it's hard when their currency doesn't have the value that they need. And they said that they wanted to implement the 2012 budget early. I know that they're making adjustments. That doesn't mean they haven't approved it. It means adjustments will be made, and the rest of the year they'll make adjustments on the budget. But I do believe that we're at a point where they want to implement it the 1st of March, and that's what we've been told, and that's what's in the papers, and everybody's talking about it. So whether it starts the 1st or the first week, I do not know, but I know that that's their goal right now.
Okay. Well, thanks for all your hard work, and I will be paying this forward, and I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Okay. Have a good day. It's going to be a great day.
Definitely. We're all looking forward to it. All right. Our next caller is coming in from 317.
Yes, this is David in Indianapolis.
David, welcome to the call. What can we do for you?
Well, Tony brought up a question. If we take that money into the bank, deposit it, and then when you go back to truly cash it in, are they going to add fees, or is that negotiated when we first go in and sit down with the banker?
Well, my understanding, I was not involved in that process, but the way it was explained to me was that everything would be laid out. They will they'll come bring it in. They'll give you a one-to-one. It will not be posted, but it'll be a pending deposit. When at the same time, there'll be a contract telling you what they're looking at. So in other words, it'll be probably a CBI rate plus or minus, and you'll see all the if there's any costs, you'll see it right at that point.
Okay.
My understanding is one of the reasons, and what I was told is one of the reasons for the early move is specifically for the purpose of being able to help people so there isn't a mad rush, number one, and number two, so people can understand the terms, and the bank is going to give good terms up front because they want to take and get you in there so that they can have the currency instantly deposited, which will help them out.
Sure.
So they'll have the credit instantly. So they're not trying to do a bait and switch. They'll let you know right away.
Another question. Dan said yesterday on the Q&A they were sending out the 10,000 dinar, and that was going to turn into 50 or 60,000. What he has reported before was in the $3 range.
Well, all he was saying, he was giving you the high and the best.
Okay.
What are we talking about? Because I'm back. Talking about me?
He was just talking about the statement that Dan made yesterday when he was telling everybody that he was mailing out the 10,000 IQD notes and it would turn to 50 or 60. So, in other words, was Dan trying to secretly give them a rate there?
I believe he was myself.
And Tony, this is David in Indianapolis. My username is Opus X. Do you know what that is?
Opus X. Yep.
Cigars.
That's my best friend. Yep.
Opus X Cigars.
Yes, absolutely. I know exactly what it is. So, well, thank you. You coming to San Francisco?
Cannot at this point.
You cannot? Oh.
No, I cannot.
Well, afterwards, you can, because we can smoke some.
Yeah.
But, anyway.
Are you in trouble?
Okay, did Gary answer your questions?
Yes,
no,
he did.
I'm going to get back to my comments.
Okay.
Just make
sure
you get your questions.
And that's what it was about. Gary can tell you, and thank you for all you do. Talk to you later.
Okay, thanks. All right.
Bye.
Okay, guys, getting back to what I was saying. The packages were being put together in case the RV didn't happen today. And, again, they aren't there. I was going to give you the framework of them, and actually they gave me the permission to give you this information. I asked them, can I talk about it on the call? They said yes. And actually they thought the packages were going to be finalized, and I was going to have one this morning. But, again, they were still meeting this morning, making some changes, and a couple other banks got involved in it. I have stressed, and I think I did a good job of it myself, and I'll continue to do it, this is not at your branch level. They're personal wealth managers. Not all of them are going to be participating, so you don't need to call them, and that's what that call was about. I guess Gary had got a call earlier from some banks trying to see if we could get you guys to stop calling them. Don't call the banks. They're irritated. So some people thought this would have you call them all over again. Wait for the information, and I have to get it. They are going to give me a list of banks that will be participating. They are going to give me phone numbers of banks that will be participating. So wait for the list. I just know a lot of you have been waiting since Monday for what the gift information was, so I wanted to give you what they were trying to put together. I liked it, and I was excited because I said, if the banks are willing to do this, anybody out there who ever thought that the dinar was a scam will know that it isn't. Anybody out there who thought we had to wait till 2013 would know that we don't, because banks wouldn't be able or willing to do this today and wait till 2013. They're not going to go and open up all these wealth management accounts to activate a year from today. That doesn't make sense. So that's a perspective I looked at and said, man, this will get even the most adamant doubter switch to the other side. This will let him know that this is absolutely real when he can have a wealth manager that will open his account, whether he put in 100,000 dinar or 100 million dinar, which is strictly up to you, but they would open your account so you could have, and this is what the guy told me, this is why we're doing this. So those people who we know are going to be players don't have to wait in line. Whatever they put in can be activated as soon as the RV happens, so they don't have to run down to the bank, because we will already give them their Visa card at a set limit or no limit card, whatever they wanted. We would already, right now, people saying, I don't have the money to get my LLC set up, my trust set up, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, when you open the account, they said they were going to do that for these people right now. So there's some benefits to doing it, and there's some to not doing it if you're scared they're going to take your money or you can get a better deal somewhere else. But even if you put in $100,000 and open an account and then went to our banker and cashed in all the rest, you have an active wealth management account to have it transferred to. So those were the reasons he told me they were willing to do it now. It was going to cut down on their work because they think it's just that close. It still hasn't come out yet. I don't have the package yet. Hopefully I'm going to get it this afternoon. They told me I'd have it this morning. That's why I said Wednesday. But now he's saying they're still in meeting. There have been some other banks added. They heard about it. They were added into it. And they were tweaking the package, supposedly. So that's what I'm waiting for. That's what that was all about. Do not call your banks because they don't know. They are not aware of the program yet. It's something that's going to dwindle down to them and only to certain ones, and then the rest will get a list and say you need to call these guys or these guys because it's only personal wealth managers that are able to do this for you. And even all of them won't do it, only certain ones in each state. But they can do that over the phone, and if you guys didn't know it, when you have money, personal wealth managers, they come to you. You'll travel to your city, your county, go to the local bank, sit in the office there, and do your work right there with you. That's what personal wealth managers do. So that was the information. And I just think knowing that they are putting that package together was exciting enough for me. And I just thought it was going to take away all your fear. It would have taken away all mine if I had any, but I don't have any. But if I did, that would have been the one thing that would have removed it all. So,
hey, Tony.
Okay, yes, sir.
Tony, one of the questions somebody's asking already, which makes sense in relation to exactly what you're saying, are you going to be able to negotiate a RV rate or any kind of rate above the package rate at the deposit time? Probably not. And are you going to get any credit for that one-for-one immediately?
Okay, but I'm not ready to take questions yet. See, that's
okay,
why
sorry.
We're going to mute all the mods. No, just joking. Gary's got to go first. Listen, you don't get credit. You get a deposit slip with this amount. Again, just as if you had just put in a $200,000 or $300,000 check. It shows up in your account, but it's so many days before it clears. That's not going to clear until the RV happens. Okay? So whatever that time frame would be, 2 days, 2 weeks, just whenever the RV, but it gave you an account that's open and a receipt with, millions in $1 million. Now, once the RV happened, and you can say, and each individual be able to go in there and negotiate, I want the RV rate, or I want with 50 cent within the RV rate, or 30 cent within the RV rate, or a CBI rate, or whatever it was. I can tell you this, too. There are certain banks that are going to offer $1 above the CBI rate, and there's another bank that's going to offer $2 above the CBI rate, but you have to be a brokerage account. If you open a brokerage account and they already have it written out, they're going to offer you $2 above the CBI rate. I'm not going to mention the banks. I'm just trying to give you guys some of the things they are putting in place right this minute for when this happens, and things that should let everybody know this is real. They're not spending their time, spinning their wheels doing this, and they're not putting these packages together hoping that this is going to RV. They know it's that close, and they're not saying, hey, I'm going to tell you this, but don't tell anybody. Certain guys, and I'm asking, can I put this out? I mean, are we going to do that? Yes, and I'm going to get you a package. I mean, some packages like the account package, what they're going to offer, they will not release until post-RV, he told me. This package I'm hoping I get this afternoon like they told me, since this is pre-RV what they're doing. So we'll see what happens. I was hoping to have every little detail, have them up here. I think they gave me a lot of the information as I asked the questions, but the package isn't here this morning. Now, all this may be for naught. And I'm saying if the RV took place this evening, tomorrow morning before you can get there, who cares? We just blow it all out the window. But if it doesn't, this is what they're preparing to do to get this thing started on their end right now. Now, some of you might want to do this. I mean, I personally would do it. I would do it because I'd have an account open. Even if it's $100,000, I'd have my card. I wouldn't be waiting 2-3 weeks afterwards. I know where my account was. I know who my personal banker was. I mean, I know how I'm going to do business. Some of the same things we tell you to do, you could be doing, preparing for right now. This is the thing I would be doing, preparing for it. As soon as they can tell me I can do it, I'm on it. Now, other people wouldn't do it. Why? Well, because I'm not sure how much they're going to give me once at RVs, where I know I'm going to be having mine negotiated, because I don't want to put all this money in the bank and they're making interest on it every day, but they're not letting me have access to it. I could understand that, but, you know, I'm not bending over to pick up pennies and letting the dollars fly by either, because I don't do that. Okay? I'm letting it happen. So there's some pros and cons of each, and you'd each have to decide for yourself. Does it make sense for you to do? And I'm sure there'll be some discussion on that. Okay, so that should answer all the questions about the bank stuff and what I meant from Monday to Wednesday. As far as the RV itself is concerned, we are hearing that they are still trying to do this today for whatever reason. I am hearing, and I'm giving you guys some information. I know you've seen it on the boards, that Forex is supposed to shut down at 3 o'clock for 24 hours. I'm hearing that same thing. One of our mods came on. I'm not going to give you a name so you guys don't question, but said that her father tried to go to Social Security to get his check or something, and they told him they're closed for the next 24 hours, which kind of coincides with that, and say, why would that be? And to me, this is just to me, my rationalization is during the process of what they're trying to do, they're trying to make sure money stops moving, because it's based on each country's balance at that time when they convert their money over. And if they got money steadily going out, and they don't have that concrete balance. But for a 24-hour period of time, if they're not paying out anything, I don't think that's ever happened before, but maybe it has. But it's at the same time that Forex is saying they're shutting their back part down, which means there aren't any trading going on, bank-to-bank trading, country-to-country trading. Not that you can't go on Forex and trade, because they're going to use the parameters that they have, just like they did when they shut down for the 4 hours. But behind the scenes, just like behind the scenes of our government, nothing's going to move for a 24-hour period of time, for whatever the reason is. Use your wildest imagination. But I'm hoping it's for what I want it to be, which is the RV, because it makes sense to me. Okay, Gary, you want to say something?
No, I'm just ready to move on to our next caller if you want to take the next question.
Oh, okay. Wait, unless Simon wanted to say something else. Did I answer all the questions?
There's hundreds of questions coming in, but we can't all do them now, so go ahead and just continue.
Oh, yeah, let's take our callers. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Gary, before you do that, there was the very first caller that had a specific question for Tony that we couldn't answer.
I was going to go back to that. You mean, well,
okay.
Dan, why don't you go ask him the pre-IPO question?
Yeah, that's all it was, Tony. He wanted a little bit more clarification about how to get involved with the pre-IPOs.
The pre-IPOs, there are websites that you can go in to IPOs. There are people, there's actually a site that I get, and it sends me IPOs, businesses for sale, things like that, investors. There's some investors out there who do nothing but put IPOs together. But what you guys want to do, because there's some crooks out there, I'm telling you that right now. There absolutely are some crooks out there. So there's some boiler rooms out there and a whole bunch of other things for you to look out for. You guys being multimillionaires or 100,000aires, if you have a personal wealth manager, whatever bank it is, you need to let him know that's what you want, pre-IPOs. Chase does more IPOs than anybody. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they are all involved in IPOs. They get their own shares that they can sell to their clients. You have to let them know you want to be one of those main clients because that's where you want the focus of your money to go. That's pre-IPO. So that's getting it at $7. We're doing the IPO. It's going to come out at $15, $16 and go up. But 99% of the time, if you're in at pre-IPO, you definitely made money. Sometimes there are some restrictions. Sometimes the bank wants you certain restrictions, and that's all negotiable, guys. You got to know that because they're the bank shares. They just don't want everybody selling them right out the gate, driving the price down. So there's a learning curve, but is it worth it? Absolutely. It might be the scariest money you ever made and the easiest money you ever made at the same time. Okay, that answer that question?
I think so. Golfer?
All right.
All right, our next caller, we're going to 951 area code, and they're on the board with us right now, Tony. 951.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm just fantastic. I've been in this dinar for about 8 or 9 years. I can't even remember when I first bought some, and didn't realize it was getting so close about a year ago, and my nephew called me and told me I should go buy some. But the question that I've got today would, what do you think about the term one world currency, and what effect would that have on revaluation?
That's a Gary question. But first of all, what did your psychiatrist say?
I haven't talked to him about it.
See, you've been in this for 9 years, and you're one of the lucky ones if you don't have a psychiatrist yet, but okay.
Well, I just put it in my safe and didn't even think about it until about a year ago when I was made aware of its impending RV.
Okay. Gary, you want to answer that, or? Oh, okay. Gary might not be here. He might be taking another call. Listen, I don't foresee one world currency happening in the future. I'll tell you something. I was on the discussion board this morning, and we were looking at 4 base currencies right now that they were trying to peg the world to, which is okay because that's a natural step trying to get to one. You just can't jump to one. So there's 4 base currencies and regions that they're trying to do so that a region is dependent on each other and it won't drag the world down like it is right now, okay, being so interconnected. So that's my fear of one world currency and why I see it won't happen, because any little decision that a country make could drag everybody down if we went to one world currency. So even though it was a novel idea, I just don't see it now. It may still happen, but the dangers, to me, outweigh the benefit of a one world currency. And I definitely don't see it happening Saturday morning at 6 a.m.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
let me add one other. And I'm sorry, I was trying to unmute, and I had the other headset going at the same time here again. Basically, we spoke to some economists that were dealing with this, and one of the points they made is that to go to a one world currency, the same piece of paper, the same coins in every country, would basically be just a tantamount challenge. I know people are talking about, the core notes and some other different types of currencies that have, or they call it the bank core notes that are out there. There's a number of other currencies that have been created, but what the challenge to that is getting all the countries to accept it. You've got a lot of cultural challenges that people have. Plus, you've got just the dynamics of what people are familiar with and what they're comfortable using. So to get that to happen, most of your economists feel that there's still a ways to go with that. One person did come back and say probably if you're talking about a one world currency, hey, every country can still have its own currency, because something that's really close to a one world currency would be your credit card. Guess what? Visa doesn't care whether it's USD, IQD, francs, or EUs. basically you can go anywhere, swipe it, and it exchanges at the rate of your currency against the location you purchased it in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still, I think, if you're talking about the paper, it's still a long time coming.
Well, the only way I could see it possibly happen is all the currency would be digital.
Well, that's what the cards are all about.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I still think that's a ways off.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
it's a lot of people are thinking that, and but right now it's not something that is impacting what's going on right now with the IQD.
Okay. Well, I just want to tell you guys how much I appreciate everything that you're doing for all of us, and I think you're doing a great job. Thank you.
All right, thanks. We appreciate it.
You bet.
All right.
Take care. Our next caller is coming in from a 520 area code. 520?
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, this is Linda. How are you guys?
Doing
good. How are you?
Good. How is... Yes, hello. I don't know because I'm so nervous right now, and this is the first time I got in your calls. And I don't have that much question, but my question is, what is this? I have a sister out of the country, and my husband told me I don't need to make some later gifting statement for them.
Okay. I don't know what country she's in or what's her rules, but
she is in Germany.
Oh, and he may be right. I mean, she's out of the country. Are you putting it in her bank account? You mailed it to her? What are you doing?
I'm thinking I need to mail the dinar for her so that she is the one. I don't need to pay the taxes over here, or...
Well, that's a very good idea, but if you're going to mail a dinar, you might want to mail it before it RVs, because afterwards it might get you in a little bit of trouble.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's the one I want to know it, because my husband and me is kind of like back and forth about that. But I don't need to have the letter to send it to them, the gifting letter, or I need that.
I don't think you need that in Germany. I mean, it was here, and it was our tax situation. It wouldn't hurt if you want to just do it in case she needs it over there for some reason. If she doesn't have a purchase order or something, I don't know what the rules are going to be in Germany, so it wouldn't hurt. But you definitely don't need it for us. But what you want to consider is, like I said, putting it in the mail before the RV, because afterwards you won't be able to do that without a consequence.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's only my question.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for everything. Thank you, Tony and Gary and all the mods. And give me hope every day. Okay. Thanks.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you. All right, Gary, before we go to the next question, let me do this real quick. Next person. There is two things we should have done at the beginning of the call, and I just remembered it. And that is we had one of our members pass away. Are the mods still there? What was her name, Corvette girl? I was looking for some backup for that.
That's Corvette girl. You're right, Tony.
Corvette girl. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. So we were just made aware that she, in fact, did pass away. And her mother is on the boards, and her mother's name is...
I believe it's LSU girl.
Say it again?
I believe it's LSU girl.
LSU girl. Okay. So just to make you guys aware, I mean, if you want to say a little something to her, and just let them know. Okay? So we're sorry to hear that, and you have all of our condolences. Okay? The other thing is we have a bunch of members that are over in Iraq, overseas, and I just wanted to send a shout-out to them. Thank you for what you're doing over there, what you're going through right now, and we are aware of you, and we do appreciate you, even sticking with us at, all times of the day and night and being part of this board, helping us and giving us some insight over there. So I wanted to say thank you to you guys for that. Okay, the third thing, just so we can clear it up, and I'll clear it up as it goes through. Somebody just sent me a text, and it says only a few Social Security offices are closed today, not all of them. So why that would be, I don't know. But if we get more information, maybe it doesn't fit into what we're looking at. Maybe it does. Maybe they're offline. I don't know. But now they're saying all of them aren't closed. But I know Forex is supposed to be closed from 3 to 3. And Social Security was in that same time frame. It made sense. But if we can get some more information on it, if I can, I will. And I'll put something on the board or have one of the mods come back and give you something if I can get some more information on that. And I will make a phone call to Washington and see if it plays into this. Okay? All right. Let's go to the next person, Gary.
Before we do, I see one of the people that called in on our message board is from a 435 area code. You are not in the queue. You're on the board. We do want to be able to communicate with you. If you will hit *6 and wait, and then hit the 1, it'll put you back in the board. There we go. Thank you very much. Okay, our next caller is coming on right now, and they're from, I believe, is that the 864 area code? 864. You are on the board with us.
Hello, this is William from South Carolina. My screen name is called the King Dinar. How y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, Tony. First question, what kind of hot dogs do you eat?
Red hot dogs, Nathan's hot dogs, ballpark hot dogs. I eat hot dogs.
You got to try the kosher dogs, dude.
Yeah, okay.
They're good. Okay, I want to ask you some questions that's on the board here for people. One of them is whether we get the bank packages or not. Wouldn't you think it'd be a good idea to make copies of your dinar with the serial numbers and have them sign off on them before you give them to a bank?
Absolutely. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. Guys, I had another guy, and if we're talking bank stories, two of them, they went in so far that I know of, and there's guys I know I talk to every day, okay? The guy I talk to every day went in, the bank counted his dinars, gave him a receipt, put him in a plastic bag, and put a seal on the bag and signed it and said, I'm doing this so when you come in, we don't have to recount all of this. They already went through it. So I'm just letting you know that. And they opened an account for him already. They didn't put the dinar on deposit. They put it in a bag and sealed it so they could make the process go faster when he went in. Another one did the same thing. And he told me they didn't run every one of them through a Delarue machine. They pulled out of each stack and ran them through, just like do kind of random, and did the same thing. So different banks are going to do different things. Right now they're not taking them. If they do this new program, they're saying they're actually taking them. They're going to run through it right there with you, how many it was, and give you a deposit slip to reflect that. So if you want to make copies of yours, absolutely. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, that's what I would do.
All right. Another question I had on the board there is, have you been hearing anything on the Vietnamese dong?
Yes, I heard one day it's going to RV. So,
all right.
Actually, I've been hearing the number. I remember months ago we thought 5 cents was going to be good, but what I'm hearing is much higher than 5 cents.
All right. Have you been hearing anything lately going out there as far as Iraq being on a 1-to-1 with the U.S. dollar right now?
Whether we're reading the article that says 1-to-1, which I thought wasn't with the U.S. dollar but was their exchange rate myself, or the 120.
Yeah, I believe it's more of the black market right now.
But Well, but we heard that months ago when they first realized this was going to revalue, that they were in fact doing that on the black market. But the black market, you guys got to realize, wasn't Iraq. I shouldn't say wasn't fully Iraq, but Syria and both Iran were coming over exchanging for U.S. dollars because they knew they were getting ready to be shut down. Iran was already shut down. Syria was actually shut down on Monday is what I heard, and reopened today. So it was only a short period of time and probably will be shut down again. But they're transferring in their pseudo-government already too, like Libya did. So that was a big push. I mean, last month and the month before was Iran and Syria coming across the border, and that's why we had those border shutdowns at that time too. They were buying dollars off of the black market, exchanging it.
Right.
Okay.
All right, I got another question here. It's in regards to all the CEOs and the bank representatives that are getting nailed and being resigning. Do you have anything on that?
Gary does.
Bill it, Gary.
Okay, I guess Gary does.
That's a big one. There is a number of issues out there. I think if you look at a recent presentation that was put before the in the UK before the Lord's Chamber, and there is a Lord Blackhold who basically made some accusations. Some people are tying those two together. It's been something that they've been working on for months now, for two years, and the announcements kind of have surfaced. So I am told that those two things kind of play together. I'll let you do the research and see what you come up with, but you've got the key.
Definitely. Another question in regards to taxes. Heard any more on the 15% long term, the 35% short term?
And after you answer that one, we're out of time on this one.
All right, bro.
Hey, Tony, you're the tax man.
All I heard right now, they're trying to, from what I know, you see, they're trying to do a 15% flat tax across the board to make it simple for everybody. That's confusion, but that isn't even out yet either. So I don't know which way it's going to go.
All right, well, I appreciate y'all's time. I want to give a shout-out to Joyce and Janice and let them know I'm going to take all their money on our next card game. Y'all have a great day, guys.
Okay.
Later.
All right, bye.
All right, our next caller is coming from 303 area code, and they are on the air with us.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on the call. My name is Stefan. I go by Neffets on the board. I want to thank you, Tony, for introducing us to those bank packages. That certainly legitimizes this investment. And I want to know if there's going to be any bank employees left when we finally get to the bank, if they're all hearing about this now.
You know what? No, because that was a comment I made. I said, okay, so now, the bank employees are going to know. And he said, no, they're not, because they're not telling them. Again, they're not telling the bankers, the branch managers. They're just personal wealth managers only, and you're going to have some information to get to them. So they're still not telling the tellers.
Aha. Well, that's smart of them to do
it's
so.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Very good. Hey, well, listen, for a real question here, I know that there's been a lot of talk about a vote of no confidence being thrown at Maliki. How important is it for him to still be in his role before RV, or is that a possible delay where they may want to get rid of him and replace him before this RVs? Because there's a lot of people saying he's a bad guy.
Well, I don't think he'll be replaced before the RV because it would cause too much confusion. We'd go right back to Alawi's saying that, hey, now it's my position, and with Maliki's group saying, no, we still had the most votes, so we get to appoint somebody else, and then we'd be right back through all that turmoil. After the RV, I think he has a limited amount of time that he's going to be there anyway, which I know my first year in here, certain people made me aware that that was part of the agreement, and part of the reason why he's stalling right now is because he doesn't want to leave, and he knows what that time frame is right after all this happens. So, I mean, that's what caused some of the confusion, I think.
Yeah,
so I don't see it happening before the RV, no.
Okay, great. That certainly makes some sense. The other question that I had is there's been discussion, or last week I think it was Gary that had stated that on Friday everybody had the rates posted, and then at the last minute there were some countries that petitioned saying, hey, we don't like our rate. Let's review that. Now, if there's going to be different rates for different countries, what's going to prevent me, say, if the United States is 4 and Canada is 5, from having to take my dinar going across the border and cashing up there? It seems to me it would be universally the same rate.
No, the rates I was addressing was not the cash in on the IQD. Each country, if you look right now, has a rate when they are valued against each other. So some of the countries they were looking at, let's say Kuwait has a specific rate when you look at the UN board. Iraq has a rate for their currency. The U.S. has a rate when they all compare against each other. And so a lot of the countries that were RVing were part of the RV. Each of them became aware of they knew what their rate was going to be and released that because they were in the negotiations with the entities that had to clear it. But they weren't necessarily aware of what their neighbor's rate was going to be. And so there is challenges going on. For example, Kuwait, about a year and a half ago, Tony, if I remember correctly, and you can correct me if I was wrong, but Kuwait made a specific issue out of their rate had to be so many cents higher than their neighbor of Iraq, and they were going to, fight that tooth and nail with the IMF. Was that not correct?
Nope, that's correct. And they had a very good reason for doing that.
Yep.
Because everybody would jump the border and go over there if it was a crazy rate. And that's part of the reason why we say it's going to be to the Great British Pound, because it gives us the rate we need, but let it stay within 60 cents of Kuwait at the same time. That conversion does. So there's a lot of different mathematical equations in there and reasons for that to make it fit.
And the other thing we're looking at is a lot of the currencies are now being compared against what is called the SDR, and that's a standard rate that is created out of taking a number of other stable currencies, adding them together, and then dividing them by the sum total and coming up with an average. And I know that they're talking about using that as some of the guidelines too. But the key is the countries, when they're getting ready to announce and release the information, all of a sudden they became aware. And so some of them were saying, hold it, I didn't know that they were going to be that high. I want ours to be higher. And they had so many hours to address that issue.
Well, I certainly appreciate that clarification. That makes great sense. It definitely has been an extremely complicated process, and if we only knew half of what actually was going on behind there, I think we'd all appreciate it a lot more. And Shabibi's got to be up for a Nobel Prize of some sort one day, huh?
That's right.
So that's all I had, gentlemen. I certainly appreciate what you do, and I appreciate giving me some time here.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for joining us. And we got our last caller coming from 435. They've patiently waited, and they are now on the board with us.
All right. Hello, Gary and Tony. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm the coach on the board, and appreciate all the things that all of you do, even Dan, if he's in the background there. Thanks, Dan, for everything you do. I'm one of those lurkers. I've been here patiently waiting, but I'm going to be a little more active on the boards because I'm just really excited about this opportunity you guys are presenting here to us. I've had that thing that you talk about all the time, Tony, about people who get wealth and then lose it. I've been a millionaire once and lost it all, but I learned a lot from it, so I know how to approach it a little differently from this time here. But what I wanted to ask you, Tony and Gary, have you worked much with Forex? Have you been able to make any type of money on that? I mean, up till now, I've just been investing in mutual funds, and it's been lackluster to say the least, but is that a viable option along with real estate and IPOs?
Gary, did you want to go?
I'm letting you go first.
Oh. I made some money with Forex, and I lost some money. I actually have a friend who owns a platform, his own platform, and it's stationed offshore. He had it here onshore. Do you know anything about Forex?
No, I don't. Other than I have a nephew that kind of played around with it a little bit. He went on to one of the services where they gave him like a $50 pretend credit line or something like that, and he could play around with it a little bit, and he told me a little bit about it, and he made money fictitiously, but that's all I know about it.
Well, not to give you a whole course, but anyway, he owned a platform here, and he was betting both up and down. So he was making a really good return. But the government changed the rules last week. It says you can't do that, bet both ways, because too many people were making money. This was last year or last year and a half. So he had to take the whole thing offshore where he could do that. But now he couldn't be a U.S. company anymore. So he's still doing it, and there are some other different rules because people were winning too much. So, betting both ways. And actually, you got to have the money to bet both ways. Your average person can't do that. But if you have enough money and set the parameters, you can, in fact, do that. So I'm saying Forex is actually, there's more money traded Forex, in a week than there is the stock market the entire year. So that's how it goes right there, okay? So, but there's more money both won and lost in the stock market the entire year, too. So you got to know that. The majority of people, especially they get that, I can't even think of the name of it, which I wouldn't say anyway. But anyway, learn Forex. There's a bunch of different systems out there. Just like we said, they give you that account to play with, let you put $50,000 on, give you the strategies. I guarantee you it's kind of it's one of those businesses where 100 people get involved and one guy makes money, gets really good. But the other 99 are what fed him, if you understand that concept. So they need those 99 to feed that one. You just need to decide which one you're going to be.
Vegas or?
I mean, Forex is a lot of money, so I'm not going to say you can't, but there's a learning curve, and the majority of people lose money doing that learning curve, so you have to have enough money to sustain that. That's all. So, I mean, you're going to have a lot of money, but is that how you want to do it? So, but, it's just like real estate. It's just like gambling, like you said. Somebody's making money in all of them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's great. I appreciate it. Are we going to talk about that at San Francisco? I'm geared up and ready to go.
I do believe we have a guy who's coming in to talk about it and his platform and, how much he can guarantee you and everything else. So, and you guys got to remember, these are people we just bringing in. They have nothing to do with me.
I make my own decisions. I take my own responsibility for stuff like that. So,
well, the problem is a lot of people don't. But anyway, but I'm telling you up front, we have nothing to do with it. Okay.
I'm just
not
for the opportunity. I'm excited about this opportunity. I've always wanted to get into the money-making arena, such as with investing and stuff like that. Up till now, I've just been doing projects and things and selling them off. But like I say, I'm really excited for this opportunity. I'm grateful to all of you at PTR for everything you're doing here. This is just wonderful, and I've been a part of the backstage. I was one of the original members when we launched it, and I'm grateful to be here and be part of the family. So, and also I'd like to give my condolences also to LSU girl and Corvette girl. I've had a few conversations on the board with her, and our prayers go out to her.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate it.
Gary,
did you want to say anything about that?
Well, the only thing I'm going to say about Forex, I do have some friends that basically are in business, own a platform. There was a lot of money being made early on in Forex. The key is a lot of the guidelines and laws that control that have been changing, and a number of the Forex entities that are now being profitable are outside the U.S., and that is because of the guidelines that have been set here in country. And so if you look back and you'll see, those transitions. And so it has made it hard for people to be able to generate what they used to. And the key, and I'll just share this, the key is they shortened the cycles. At one time, you could, every day, you could put your cash in there. You'd have some good days, bad days, but the good days would compensate. And then the way it was explained to me is you had to cash out at the end of every day. And by cashing out, if you had a real bad day, it was hard to take and make it back with the good days because you weren't able to, average things out. So it made it very hard. And we do have, as Tony was just saying, we do have some people that are currently, working with platforms, and they're doing well, but not as good as they used to. So it is getting harder. But I appreciate the question, and hopefully we'll be able to just point you in a direction, and not that we're endorsing those people, but if you need, somebody to give you a history or kind of a quick lesson, they'll be there to help you understand what it's all about.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Tony and Gary. And Tony, stay positive. I know, well, I guess I can say that.
Yep, absolutely. All right, thank you.
I love getting pumped up every day. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, that was our last caller, Tony. We are done.
All right. Let me go through this again, Gary, first before we go.
Go right ahead.
All right, guys. So I'm going to go through this bank deal one more time because I got a bunch of texts. I'm not going through the whole deal. This is what I was trying to tell you guys. The bank is trying, or said they would have an opportunity to put some packages together. First of all, packages once the RV happened, so you'll know how to go and negotiate and get your account set up. That's what they were trying to do. And they had the package ready, and it is ready, but it can't be released until the actual RV. Because it was taking so long, and they know it's about to happen, they were doing what we were telling you to do. What can we do in the meantime to get ready for this? So they decided certain personal wealth managers were going to be authorized to open accounts and take people's dinar on deposit. They were saying, we don't know what the rate is going to be, but what we're willing to do is if you deposit it, put it on deposit at 1-to-1. 1 dinar equals $1. Not give it to you. You can't go spend it. You can't go use it. All you can do is look at, you have a deposit slip, 1-to-1. Not that that was the rate. Part of the agreement was when it RVs, we will upgrade your account to whatever that RV rate is. And you guys will decide that while you're doing your account. I didn't say any bank was offering 1-to-1 today. That is not what I said. I didn't say anybody can go to a bank and cash theirs out today. That is not what I said. I said the bank was trying to put this together. The package was supposed to be available this morning. It is not. It wasn't available. They told me they were in the office. Some more banks that came in decided they wanted to do it, and they were tweaking the package. Hopefully it would be ready this afternoon. Now, this initial information came out on Monday. They said it would be ready on Wednesday. It's Wednesday. I don't have it yet. I said if the RV takes place before it comes out, we won't need it. They won't need it. Do some people think that has a possibility of happening? Yes. Some people say it could still happen today, which is a great day. Tomorrow being the 1st is a great day. And if they felt that, then they wouldn't need to come out with this package because you would actually be going in now. But they've heard that before, so they were doing the exact same things that we've been telling you to do, putting something together where they could be moving forward now. I was telling you the things that package was included as a personal wealth manager, your LLCs, your trusts. You would get your Visa card right now, so you wouldn't have to be waiting for your black card, Visa card, no limit card, or you can set the limit on your card. All that would be pre-done before the RV, just like getting your trust or foundation set up. They were willing to start doing that. That's what I said. Now, who is they? I haven't named any single bank or even multiple banks because I don't have the package yet. I've told you Nobody at the branches knows about it, and they're not passing it down. Only certain wealth managers in certain locations were going to be able to do it. They told me they would provide me with those locations in each state by state and a number. I don't have that yet. I was just giving you the information so those of you who felt uncomfortable with the whole dinar situation, I'm saying this is what the banks are putting together now. This should make you feel good. I think that was a very simple explanation. Now, this is what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to get on the forums and ask me a whole bunch of questions. Don't ask the mods a whole bunch of questions. Because if you guys do that, then you're going to make Dan right. And I don't want Dan to be right. Because Dan said, Tony, they're just going to go crazy. I mean, you know how they are. They're just going to be confused. They're going to call the banks. They're going to run down there. They're going to do blah, blah, blah. Don't even tell them. Dan probably didn't want me to say that part. But don't make him right. Don't make him right. Don't do it. I'm just trying to help you. And don't tell me I was giving you too much information, because then I'm going to have to curb what I give you from now on. Go ahead. What did you say, Gary?
I was just laughing.
All right.
Well, the sad thing is we do have a lot of people that are asking to share everything, and then you give them a little bit of information, and they go run amok. But, yeah, please, I did, and Tony does know, I did get a call from a bank, just to let you know. And the banks are businesses. They're there to take care of their customers. They have a job to do, and when a number of people keep calling in and tying up their lines, and yes, you know, they get a call, a person wants to know about wealth management, and they take and go through the menu of going through the different departments to get to the right person, and they're tying up other operators and things like that, and by the time it's done, you have 20 or 30 of those a day. It kind of creates problems. And then when you have a half dozen plus walk-ins, and the sad thing is when they get in there, they get upset because they're not getting the answers they want. And so then they want to talk to a manager, and if the manager doesn't know anything, then they're being told that they're stupid. Let's get somebody who really knows what's going on. And money is an emotional matter. Yes, I do understand that. So the one bank said, listen, could you just share with our people? When it does happen, we'll all know it, and they'll be glad to work with us and want to work effectively, but they don't need to be hampered right now in the job they're trying to do. And there's some other issues that we create for them when we start going in there and doing that. And we don't want to address those right now, but we want them to be our friends when this does happen. So I'll leave it at that.
Gary's right. No, and that's, again, guys, they're telling me they're going to give us the information. You don't even have to go look. Just be aware and start thinking about it. If you want to do it, you don't want to do it. As soon as they give me the package, he's going to give me a list of locations and phone numbers, and we'll get it out to you as soon as we get it. You don't have to harass the banks, and I was hoping I already had it, but I didn't want to come on here and say, okay, you guys still got to wait again and wait again. And, you know, because I know a lot of you saying, what is it, what is it, what is it, because that kills me. So I wanted to give you the information. As soon as it's effective and we have the list, we'll get it out to you. I promise we will. Okay? All right. Anybody else want to say anything?
I think we got our bases covered, and it's been almost an hour and a half total. So why don't we let everybody go, get on with their day. We'll have this posted as quickly as possible, and I thank you for joining us today. All right. You guys have a good day. Good things are coming, that's for sure. Talk to you later.